the beginning of this movie, like after all these flashbacks and stuff, actually takes place, what is it, like 2 months after the events of the original movie or something?
Just, yeah, the Alice is like a few months after this when she gets killed here by Jason. The rest of the movie is like 5 years later.
Yeah, so what? So Jason's maybe like 17, I guess, in the canon of these Friday the 13th movies? Because what, he was like a 12-year-old boy?
Yeah, he was like a 12-year-old boy,
13.
but it was like 1958 is when he drowned, though.
Oh,
so
that's
he's an
right.
adult.
Yeah, but he was still a boy at the end of the 1979,
like in this scene,
movie?
yeah, but that's like, what the fuck is that? Is that a dream? I don't know what this scene is. Like, it's awesome. It's a great jump scare. It's a great way to end the movie, but no sequel in this series makes this scene make sense.
No.
None. And that's the beauty of the series. So, Jim, we haven't really talked about this, especially because so far we've only covered the first 3 films. But we have talked a little bit about just kind of the continuity in general. Like, okay, Jason, I guess, wasn't dead, so he's just wandering in the woods for years. That doesn't really make sense, but whatever. But the timeline of the Friday the 13th films is actually hilarious. Because the first one's 1980, second one, the majority of it takes place in like 84, 85.
Uh-huh.
The third one is like the day after that. The fourth one is the day after that. So it's like, okay, we're doing all right. Then the fifth one is like 7 or 8 years after the fourth one, because Tommy Jarvis is like older. It's probably more like 10 years actually. And the sixth one's like a few years after that. So it's, at a certain point, it's like Friday the 13th 5 and 6 might take place after 9/11. Like they're like, it doesn't, it doesn't make any sense when you actually get into it.
I'm too sick to laugh at your funny jokes.
And then who knows, the seventh one, I don't know if they ever really establish when it takes place.
Well, when is Jason Takes Manhattan? When's that?
Well, that's the eighth one, and I'm just trying to think, because there's usually the only sense of like where these fall in on a timeline usually shows up in like the beginning of the movie, because that's when you learn how many years or weeks or days have passed since the last one. And I think in the eighth one, I don't think they really say. It's just like Jason's dead at the bottom of the lake, and then, there's no characters that carry over from the seventh one to the eighth one, so.
And now, is Jason X the one in space?
It is, yes.
So that one definitely takes place after 9/11.
Yeah, that they established that like Jason's doing his thing at the Crystal Lake Research Facility, which I wish I had a T-shirt that just said that or something. But then he gets frozen, and like a couple hundred years later, they find him, and then they thaw him.
Oh, that's right. Okay.